Welcome to the Evolve Talent and HR Show. I'm Anna Morgan, your career BFF, known as the rescuer of dogs and careers, but now the creator of the Evolve Talent and HR experience. My career has been one big series of unexpected plot twists that now have landed me in the world of events for the recruitment and HR industry. Evolve was born from a desire to build heart-centered spaces for leaders to show up boldly and learn together. This show is for the modern day employee, a people-first leader, individual contributors, managers, executives, practitioners, entrepreneurs, and fractional leaders who care deeply about humans and are not afraid to do work differently. If you influence how people are hired, developed, led, and supported, you belong here. On this show, you're going to hear conversations with talent acquisition leaders, HR business partners, event organizers, sponsors, speakers, and attendees who are passionate about building human-centered, connected, and creative workplaces. So if you're ready for something a little bit different, community, fresh energy, and practical inspiration that you can use right away, you're in the right place. This is the Evolve Talent and HR Show. Let's dive in.
It's a mind switch. It's like being two different people. On the Army side, we have a very specific rank structure. But on the civilian side, it's a little bit more fluidity. That being the case, being especially dual serving, both in the civilian role and in the military, requires you to constantly have a mindset shift.
Companies love saying they hire veterans. But hiring isn't the hardest part. It's what comes after. Onboarding, ongoing support, retention. Lee Cage is a technology strategist, Army National Guard veteran, and Director of Technology and Transformation at BDO USA. And he's seen what happens when companies get this wrong. Today, we're talking about what it actually takes to retain veteran talent and where most companies get it wrong. And we're here live at Evolve 2026 in Atlanta. Lee, welcome to the show.
Oh my God. Thank you so much for having me. It's so good to see you in real life.
Yes.
I have long followed the show and I'm so glad we can rise together, if you will.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, and if we haven't met yet, I'm Rhona Pierce, host of the Workfluencer podcast. But today I'm taking over the Your Career BFF podcast live at Evolve 2026 in Atlanta. So for those who haven't met you yet, what's the Lee Cage story in 30 seconds?
Oh my gosh. I enlisted in the Army National Guard at 17 years old. I've spent almost 18 years. March 4th will be 18 years in the Guard, serving as both a civilian and as a service member as well. So
thank you for your service.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Amazing. So the talk that you're doing here today at Evolve, which is going to be an amazing talk,
thank you,
is do you have the right flight crew? It's about having the right people in the right roles within your organization. What made you want to explore that topic?
Well, most people don't know that the Air Force was birthed out of the Army. It used to be the Army Air Corps. So while this is a talk about flight, it's really an extent. It's like our child, right? The Air Force is like our child. I don't know that my Air Force friends will like that I'm saying that. But, and so one of the things that I've noticed in 65 plus deployments across collaborative work management and ERP is that many of the times organizations have the right talent, but they're just not positioned for success. And maybe their title can be a barrier to how people internally see them, their role, and their scope of responsibility. So I'm here to kind of break the myth around that and shake things up a little bit.
I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to apply this to veteran hiring, right?
Yeah.
Companies love to recruit veterans and say it's like, check. But what happens after the offer letter? Like, what do most organizations get wrong?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. Number one is if that veteran is still actively serving. So for me, 1 week in a month, a couple weeks during the summer, I wear a uniform. That means that I need ongoing support, whether that's going to advanced schools like advanced leaders courses or other things throughout my military career. It's important that I have the support of my organization so that I can both serve as a civilian and as a service member. So a lot of times when organizations hire veterans, especially those still serving, they don't fully understand what that commitment looks like or the commitment to a veteran's spouse. Right. So that veteran spouse who's moving with his or her, companion every few years, especially if they're active duty, that is a requirement of them which puts a lot of toll on the family. So there's some support that could be had there as well.
Yes. I, as everyone knows, grew up in Panama, very, very strong military presence back then. And people moved every 2 to 3 years.
Yeah.
And the support of the spouses, like the spouses, I think, of veterans or of active duty service members are the like unsung heroes
They're the
of
anchors.
it. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're keeping it together and making things feel like home and normal.
Every time you move.
Every time you move. So when you think of companies that actually get veteran support right, what have you seen that works?
Yeah, BDO is where I currently work. I'm a director there. I think BDO has done an exceptional job of getting that right. As a matter of fact, last year I actually issued I recommended them for a ESGR award for their support of the Guard and Reserves. That is providing us with the grace that we need to serve in those dual roles. At times it could be a little bit of grace for things that are going on in our lives, right? We don't have the typical thing, it's not just we get off of work and we're home. It can be, hey, we have a field training exercise. Hey, we have an AT for those that are in the Guard and Reserve. But there also can be some things from a mental perspective that some service members may need. And really allowing us to tap into that EAP. There are a lot of pros to hiring veterans. And I've talked a lot about this, especially over the last few months and years, that you get a project manager out of the box when you hire a veteran. You get someone who can see tasks through into completion, someone who cares a lot about not just the time that it takes, but the quality in which they are delivering. That's a benefit. We need those benefits as well.
I love that. Let's talk about managers.
Yeah.
How prepared are they in general to support a veteran?
I find it so interesting. So I've had so many conversations where leaders and managers and leaders didn't even realize that every governor controls a military. Yes, the National Guard. So it's not just, is this person deploying to, someplace far, far away, but can this person be deployed locally in the communities that they serve? That's the intent and purpose of the National Guard, right? Is that we can be deployed here in the U.S. And so there are things that happen with that, national disasters, right? Other things as it relates to border and security and control that National Guard responds to. And so for managers, know that your people sometimes don't have notice. So one of the wonderful things that I've built with my leader is I'm going to tell you as soon as I know, but also know things are subject to change. And so that's one of the key things that managers, I think, maybe underestimate or maybe don't fully have a preview into.
And I'm thinking as you're speaking of, because you mentioned that you once a month go and serve.
Yes.
When there's a national disaster, when there's something happening, how does that okay, I just went, I just served, I did this, and now, okay, back to corporate. Hi.
Yeah. It's a mind switch. It's like being two different people, right? So on the Army side, we have a very specific rank structure, right? There's order to that rank structure. And we're going to talk about that in the talk here a little bit. But on the civilian side, it's a little bit more fluidity. Right. And one of my good friends always says flexible people can never get bent out of shape. That being the case, being especially dual serving, both in the civilian role and in the military, requires you to constantly have a mindset shift. So there's something to that.
Wow. I did not. This has been such an eye-opening conversation, because now I'm thinking as a coworker, because everyone talks about managers in the company, but as a coworker, how do you support your coworker who is a veteran, who's having this mind shift every month?
I mean, I have had some phenomenal coworkers throughout my career, and I've had some that had opportunities, right? Opportunities exist. We all have them. That said, for the greater majority, they have leaned in. So in some cases, when I had a bunch of notice, we were able to plan strategically, forecast work, make sure that it got redispositioned to other folks. In the cases where it's like, hey, you're going to go do this thing and you leave in 2 days, I've had coworkers that have been so supportive that they're like, what can I take off of your plate in the next 24, 48 hours? Or what can I take off of your plate today so that you can spend the next 24 hours focusing on packing your life or doing whatever else? That's the best way to support. It's not that we expect excuses. As a matter of fact, I think most service members would say that excuses are tools of the There's a poem, 12 P's, that I love. But most service members, we have a high amount of grit, stick-to-itiveness. We want to own our thing. So it takes something for us, too, to hand off our work to others while also trusting that it gets done. So, yeah.
Yes.
It's humbling, even for us.
This is conversations really opening. I'm like turning and thinking of all the things. And it's like, have I always been the most supportive? Like, do I even know if any of my veteran or like coworkers were leaving? I'm like thinking like, oh, maybe that's why they weren't there all the time.
What's so funny? I had a couple years ago, I went to Advanced Leaders course in Columbia, South Carolina. And typically there's another course that you can go to. Same course in Kentucky is like 4.5 weeks. The one in South Carolina was 7.5, 8 weeks. That meant for 2 months, the folks in my team were absorbing my work. Now I stayed in contact. We had, evening calls and we did the things, but that meant that placed a responsibility on them. So coming back to work, what do I owe them? And the answer was always nothing.
Oh,
they were happy to serve so that I could focus in. And I think the benefit of that is I shared collectively with the successes that we had from the program as well. So I was able to, earn superior academic achievement and some of the other things. I came back to work with, hey, y'all, we earned superior academic achievement because they gave me the freedom to kind of check out so that I could check in and wear that hat.
And I think you can reframe it as a way of, as coworkers, you're also doing your part in serving.
Yeah.
Because you're making sure you're like letting your coworker who is in the military go and do the thing and keep us safe.
Yeah.
Well, if you're not making it hard when they come back and stressing them, you're also helping out.
I mean, the truth is this, less than 1% of all Americans wear this uniform. Now, I think generally speaking, most people know a veteran, and because most people know a veteran, have had a person in their family family or community that may have served, there's this perception at times that there are more of us than there is. But there's less than 450,000 National Guard soldiers.
Wow.
In the country.
I would have thought that number was way bigger.
No.
So
Yeah.
What's something listeners can do this week, other than everything that we've spoken about, to better support a veteran on their team?
The thank you for the service is meaningful. I think that is by far the best passive way to say I'm acknowledging you, I see you, I appreciate you, thank you. The other way that you can do it in a more tangible way is to get 15 minutes on their calendar and don't ask them about a deployment. Don't ask them, have you ever deployed? Have you ever shot someone? All of those things most veterans have heard more than once. Ask them what you can do for them. Like, hey, you served, even if it was a day, right? Or 4 years or 12 years, or in my case, almost 18 years. How can I serve you today? And I think for most veterans, they would see that as beyond, above and beyond.
Amazing. So I have a little rapid fire.
Oh my gosh. Did you plan this for me?
Yes. Just fill in the blanks. Yeah. No, just whatever comes to mind first. Normalize
being honest.
Stop rewarding
bad behavior.
We need less blank and more blank.
More honesty and a little less feelings.
Success doesn't come from.
Success does not come from who you know only. Sometimes it is the hard work. You have to have grit. Can I double tap into that?
Yes.
People think so often, especially folks that I have seen in the community, they think that people just arrive at wherever place that they are. They don't see the late nights. They don't see the weekends. They don't see the time away from family. So some things just take time, and grit is part of it. It's my favorite word, by the way. Grit.
I love it. And it totally makes sense. I mean, yes, with your background and with everything, it definitely makes sense. So I've really enjoyed this conversation. Where can listeners connect with you?
Yeah, everywhere Lee Cates Jr. So if you're ticking and talking, as my little sister says, if you're on Instagram, if you're on LinkedIn, or even leecatesjr.com, find me there, connect with me. I would love to chat with you, hang out with you, spend time with you, get to know you, help you conquer the world as well.
Get some time with Lee and ask him questions. This conversation was amazing. We'll
Thank
link
you.
all of that in the show notes. Thank you so much for being on the
Bye,
show.
y'all.
Thank you for joining me today on the Evolved Talent and HR Show. I'm Anna Morgan, always your career BFF. And my intention here is simple: to create brave, fun, and high trust spaces for people first leaders so that they can connect, learn, and also remember that they are not alone in this work. So if today's episode gave you a moment of relief, made you laugh, or gave you that spark to just keep going, then we are doing our job. Until next time, please keep showing up boldly, keep caring about humans, and always keep evolving. Bye.